People of New York, I am speaking to you now from the dark bowels of the Warhorse War Room at 623 Lurch Road. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. You ask, what is our policy? I will say to drink beer and watch TV. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? Victory. Victory at all costs of social interaction, in spite of all terror. Victory, no matter how long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no more beer. And hello, and welcome to Think NY, Drink NY, New York State Brewers Association Virtual Happy Hour. My name's John.
Pete, nice to meet you
That
guys.
smirking, handsome man is Pete, one of the brewers here at Warhorse. The game plan was to split screen Facebook Live with Pete so we could stay nice and safe, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So Pete's on my phone, and I'm here in the quite empty Warhorse Brewing Company. So we're just going to hang out for a few minutes until we hit 6:30, in which case, and in which time, and in the circumstances given, we will start. Quarantine.
Can't wait.
This is going to be great. So, first off, I think we should start with a beer. How about a little virtual toast, Pete? Sound all right?
Sounds great. What are you drinking?
Oh, just a little beer called Change. Oh, look at that. How nice.
Me too.
Man, I do love fresh beer.
It doesn't get any fresher than this. We just canned it
does not.
today.
I just ran the cans today. So, Change is a new thing for us. To you. Ting.
Cheers.
Change is a new beer for us. It's the first of a series of double dry hopped IPAs, all called Change, all with similar logo, the horse from the bar, which is going to be right over in front of me, behind you. All slight variations on the horse, with slight variations on the hops, essentially, used in it. So, Pete, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Change beers? At least Change number one.
Sure. Change number one is done kind of in a New England style. It's definitely hazy. Features Azaka, El Dorado, and Southern Passion hops. It's really fun to use these hops. Not something we usually get to play with, so I was pretty happy with it.
So you see Change, we feature the horse,
Tropical fruits.
and then the hops right underneath there, and a little spiel, and all the pertinent information on the back of each can. So the idea is that it's a beer that'll allow these guys to play around a little bit more in terms of getting new hops in, getting something exciting in, without having to build these massive, long seasonals around and making these beers that are going to run over and over and over again. These things will run kind of at the whim and whimsy of Pete and Garrett, and they'll come in, they'll come out, and you stop in, you get what you get. You go to the beer store, the grocery store, you get what you get. It's kind of whatever's happening. So the first one, I don't know if any of you guys recognize the homage on here, but it is Andy Warhol's Maryland. So it kind of worked out. The thinking was, without getting crazy out in the weeds, was that Andy Warhol in his pop art would do kind of slight variations on the same image over and over and over again, and it was all art. Slight variations, meaning different art, kind of based on the same thing. So change over and over and over again, especially on something that's meant for purchase in a store. So just like the Campbell's soup can, except we're sending it back to Andy. So this is the first one. The next one, what's the next one?
John Lennon, I believe.
John Lennon, yeah, Sgt. Pepper's era John Lennon is the next horse. Hello everybody that's watching. It's good to see everybody. Please don't put me on too big of a screen. My head is already big enough already, especially next to Pete on his little screen. So just, if you can, keep your face away from the screen. All right. Pete, I do believe it's time for the first round. Oh, by the way, ordering. You want this, you can get it, assuming you live in New York State. If you want it direct, you can order from our website. It's shop3bros.com. Spell the whole thing out, shop3bros.com. Or go to Warhorse Brewing, and there's a little link on the side to shop liquids. Order it right through there. You can also order all the rest of our beers, ciders, sodas, slushies, wine, merch, hats, glasses, all kinds of good stuff. I will make Pete autograph something. He'll send it to you. We'll do all kinds of stuff. Whatever you want right now, we're doing it. If you want to come get it, there's an option for pickup. It's curbside. It is right. It's that way. You drive in the parking lot. You can go on the Warhorse or Three Brothers Facebook page and see a live demo of how to pick it up. Order right online. Pull right into the parking lot. There's cones. There's a flag guy. It's usually Tyler or Justin. And he'll ask for your order number, your name. They'll come in and grab it, bring it right out for you. You're gonna load up the trunk, get on out of here. We also sometimes have the big ass pretzels that are like that big. I don't know if you guys have ever been here, but we have big pretzels. You can order those to take and bake, cook at home, whatever it's called. You can order the pretzel to go, and you just make it at home. It's awesome. And it comes with Churchill Stout mustard, which is awesome. Thank you, Will, for stopping by. Yes, Nick, you can stop by. Yeah, we'll let Nick in. Nick, you can stop by and pick up. So if you want to come by, that'd be great. If you really don't feel like driving to Geneva, which I get today, but most days it's a really pretty drive, you can go to your local store. This should be rolling out this week and next week, as soon as it's ready, which will probably be tomorrow. Going to almost all of a lot of our Wegmans. We'll be going to our beer stores, a lot of our specialty shops, a lot of our other grocery stores, Honeywell Falls, Mendon, Trumansburg, around Syracuse, we're up in Watertown, we're down in Ithaca, we're down in Oswego, and all kind of Johnny Cash songs. So, without further ado, what you all have actually been waiting for.
Yes.
The QuaranTEAM.
I'm so excited for this, John. Thank you.
Boy, oh boy. If I could tell you the number of times I had to measure and remeasure this sheet of paper to see how many lines would fit on it. It's very embarrassing. I was not a math major, clearly. So, we are going to start in the Northeast. The quick rundown, we got Martha Stewart, Wayne Campbell from Wayne's World, Doug Flutie, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, Tom Hanks, Tim the Toolman Taylor, Gordon Ramsay, and Walter Sweetness Payton. So we will start at the top here. Martha Stewart, Wayne Campbell. Who you got, Pete?
You know, I like hanging out with Wayne, but food is the way to man's heart, so I'm going to go with Martha Stewart. But she has a lot of experience being cooped up in small places, so I think we'll be good together.
A gun rack? A gun rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack? I don't even own a gun, much less many guns that necessitate an entire rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack? Sorry, Wayne, one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the reasons my wife married me is because I can quote Wayne's World. Maybe the only reason, depending on the day that you ask her. But I'm going to go Martha as well. That's tough. Easy one. She makes it out of the first round. Next up, we got Doug Flutie and Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. Pete, who you got?
I think we all know who I have in this one. It's got to be Doug Flutie. I mean, American hero, never say die, warrior of the gridiron. Just, all around good guy. Got to go with Doug Flutie.
Question, does he bring his own Flutie Flakes?
He doesn't need to. I already got 2 boxes.
You've got 2 boxes. How long is that going to last you? How excited? You'd be so excited to crack open Flutie Flakes with Doug Flutie. You'd finish those 2 boxes in the first day, Pete.
No way. They are in pristine condition. I will not open them. He will sign them, though, multiple times. And we can just reminisce about the good old times. They used to jump up and throw over linemen.
Oh, man. That, you know what? I was leaning towards Missy Elliott just because I thought it'd be so fun. But you make a compelling argument for Doug Flutie. As long as the internet's still working, you've got a lot of highlight reel and game tape to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And assuming football never comes back while we're in quarantine, which is the entire time that you're with Mr. Flutie, you're going to watch old games. He's going to break it down. It's like living in a...
Break down the tape.
Exactly. All right, I'm in. I'm sold. Doug. Sorry, Missy. Oof. All right. Tom versus Tim. First round, Tom Hanks versus Tim the Toolman Taylor. So, ground rules on Tom Hanks. It is Tom Hanks. It is not any of his characters. It's the Tom Hanks. It is Tim the Toolman Taylor, not Tim Allen. That's the hard part. So who you got?
Oh, man, this is tough. You want to go first on this one?
Here's the problem that was pointed out to me after I put up this post was that Tom Hanks already has coronavirus. I did. I didn't even think about that when I randomized all these things. I thought he'd be a nice guy to hang out with. So, Tim the Toolman Taylor was one of my first choices because hysterical, right? Super fun, fairly handy. Even when he doesn't break stuff, he's got the whole Binford company behind him. He can spend whatever he wants to get things done. And if you get to summertime, you got a nice big lawnmower coming. So that was my first choice.
Okay.
However, I think you might go nuts with the amount of stuff that he's breaking and putting diesel engines in your house. You don't need a diesel blender, right? I have a tough time with Vitamix as it is. Yeah, Nick, thank you. Tim the Toolman Taylor, as long as he doesn't have power tools near him, I got power tools. Pete, I'm sure you got some power tools. At least a nice handheld drill.
Definitely have that.
A little Petey homemaker with all those tools. But, so...
What are the people saying, John? I don't have the chat up.
It's split. This is a hot one. So, I know. Without wasting too much time, Tom Hanks, here's the catch. I think Will said it earlier. He's already got coronavirus or has beaten it. I clearly am not up on the news of Tom Hanks. So if he still has it, you go into quarantine, you go get it with him. He's on his way out. You're on your way in. He's doing nothing but commiserating. He already knows what you're going through, and boatloads of money. So he's got a really nice place to stay in, assuming you're staying at his place, not your place. And you got a lot of Tom Hanks movies. He ran through the 90s, Philadelphia, Toy Story, Forrest Gump, I'm sure other ones, Apollo 13. So I'm going there. I'm going in, getting infected, getting inoculated right off the bat, and then watching movies in my sickness and hope that we make it through.
Wow, that is a hot take.
So, Pete, what do you got?
I like that hot take. That's really good. I mean, I am so up in the air. I just kind of want to leave it to the people that decide this one. I thought you made a really compelling case for Tom Hanks, though.
Thank you.
And getting the virus.
Thank you. So, I'm putting it down because I'm putting it down. Tom Hanks also has a great online presence, so he could help us promote the brewery from our shared bed with pillows down the middle. All right. Tom Hanks did die and live in World War II. It's true. Earn this, cowboy. There's a snake in my boot. Gordon Ramsay, Walter Payton. Okay. There's obvious disparity between the two. Total opposite ends of the spectrum. Gordon Ramsay's coming in, cooking food. Walter Payton, the ultimate nice guy, ultimate motivator. Here's the plus side for Gordon Ramsay. Obvious. you're going to get good food, and you're going to learn how to cook. Downside, it seems like you'd be a real jerk if you're not washing your hands. You imagine him yelling at you? Yeah, exactly right, Pete. He's going to yell at you. So, what we're going to say for Walter Payton, downside is, you really got to want to work out. He's going to put you to work.
Yeah.
So, I want to know who you got, Pete.
You know, I'm going to go with the food again. I can take a little tough love every once in a while if it's going to improve my skills. But I kind of want to hang out in my sweatpants, you know, watch a couple movies, eat some great food. I'm not into the, you know, the pumping in the basement.
Oh, man. That'd be the hard part, because you'd need room to work out. You need a hill. His thing was he was a hill runner. He used to go out
Well, I
and
have
run
one
hills.
of those, but
Ooh,
I gotta stay inside.
Man, think about the glutes you'd have. You'd come back in 8 weeks. You'd walk around here. You'd be walking up the steps of that brew house. And everybody would be staring over the edge going, hoo, hoo, hoo. That's a snack.
I gotta stick with Ramsey.
Big Gordon, man. Okay, we're locking it in. Gordo. G and R. Gordon Ramsay. Sorry, sweetness. Okay, folks. If this is reversed, I'm sorry. I don't know how to. There it is in forwards, I guess. All right, coming down from the southwest. Hank Hill from King of the Hill. Ernest Hemingway. Marcus Aurelius. A Seinfeld. This could be any Seinfeld. You get to pick. Shacton a Fool. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. The Queen Bey, Yonsei. And, again, a Ghostbuster. You pick whichever one you want. So we're starting with Hank Hill and Ernie Hemingway. Pete, who you got?
All right. Well, my first instinct was Hemingway would be pretty cool, but you know,
Yeah.
you're thinking might deplete the stash of beer a little too quickly.
Fair.
However, you can go on to warhorsebrewing.com and have it delivered directly to your house.
Pete, you're the best sales guy we got.
Totally natural. And for Hank Hill, I mean, he's a cool dude. He's fun to hang out with. I gotta go with Hemingway, I think.
Pete, we're getting votes both ways. We're getting votes both
Give him
ways.
30 seconds. I want 30 seconds for the kids.
Dang it, Bobby. I agree on all points. Hank Hill, lots of fun in that you'd get some great grilled meats, right?
Absolutely.
He's good at budgeting. Keeps everything in line. No funny business.
Very protein
Problem is,
problems.
you got no funny business. You're going straight down. You got steak and potatoes, first 2-3 days. Terrific. You're living the high life. I'm put this to you, everybody out there saying Hank Hill. You're in this thing for like 6-8 weeks, maybe longer. Who knows how long you're stuck in this house with Hank Hill. How many steaks and potatoes and frozen green beans and corn niblets, whatever it is, little pieces of corn, can you possibly eat? Hemingway, yes. He would drink everything. Very fun. However, it'd be great. He's the old man, right? Except for the cats. He had a lot of cats. Odd. But what was his drink? The daiquiri? I'd go for a daiquiri. Watch a little movie. Talk about 1920s Paris. I think he was there, right? World War I think he was there. I'm agreeing with you. I'm going Hemingway. Hemingway. Put it down. Okay. Here's the first blowout I think everybody's got. Marcus Aurelius versus A. Seinfeld. And again, if this is reversed, I'm so sorry. I didn't think about that either, but there it is. We got Marcus Aurelius versus a Seinfeld. Pete, who you got?
I feel like A. Seinfeld, as in any Seinfeld character, is probably one of the favorites to win this whole thing.
Whew.
They came into the tournament hot. They're deep three shooting team. I think you said you wanted George. Is that right?
I'm going George.
You going George? See,
I'm going George.
Initially, I thought Kramer, but then I realized he doesn't really respect personal space all that much, and he's got like a real like picky as far as fruits go. So I guess I just go with regular Seinfeld, and I'm taking him to win.
Ooh, steaming hot take, Pete. Incredible. Yeah, I'm a George guy all the way on this one because he walks the line between fun, reckless, and reason, I believe. Kramer, like most people are saying, if people are voting Kramer, they're not thinking this through. Absolutely insane to live with him. Kicking that door down. Hey, Pete. Kramer,
It's my little alone time sometimes.
get out of here. We
I'm
got
an
like
introvert.
6 rooms,
I like
man. Just go anywhere else. We have 1 living room. That's a lot of time with Cosmo Kramer
Yeah.
complaining and starting companies. You imagine what Kramer would be doing in 2020? It'd be all Instagram influencer companies starting. You imagine? Get out of here. So, we're going George. As long as he doesn't give you envelopes. Yes, very good. Marcus Aurelius, the reason I put him on there is because he's a great Stoic. He's one of the best in terms as far as Stoics go. There's other ones, maybe better. He's the one I think most people know, other than Seneca around here. But he would keep you level-headed, right? Stoic, things happen,
Sure.
and they happen. It's how you react that makes the difference. The world is nothing but your reaction, right? So, I'm saying that gets boring after a while. After you going, I am so hungry, Mark. And he's like, well, hunger is your insight. And you go, God, come on, man. You can't go to the grocery store. Do a little weightlifting around here. So, A. Seinfeld moves through in what everybody expected. Okay. Next up, we got Shaq, the Shactus, the big Aristotle, versus Captain Picard.
This one's tough because Shaq is hilarious, and I feel like he has a ton of great stories, but kind of what you were saying for Marcus Aurelius with Picard, he's calm, a good leader, and he can tell you about all the stories throughout the universe, so I gotta go with Picard.
Oh, God, I didn't think you were. I thought everybody was going to go Shaq on this one. Does anybody
That's the last one.
think Shaq here? Because I was leaning towards Shaq originally. I thought Shaq was going to make it clean and easy. So, good thing
I think Shaq
about
would fit in my house.
Shaq.
I got a small house.
Shaq, quit hitting your head on stuff, man. However, you would be able to reach up high and grab everything. I heard Shaq can't act or rap. Those are both lies. I've seen Kazam. We've all seen Kazam. He can clearly act. Blue Chips, but mostly Kazam. And we've all heard him rap about Kobe, R.I.P., but he can clearly rap. So, unless he can do better, you're wrong. I was leaning toward Shaq initially, and it's astounding to me how many people are rolling in with Jean-Luc, the Capitaine. I didn't think about how level-headed he would be. That Justin, Picard, you get the starship. I'm going to say no. I think we're going no magic. And space travel is essentially magic. So no magic tricks from anybody on this list. I think that's going to be a rule. So he can act like he's on the Starship Enterprise, but you can't have it. So, Pete, you were right on all the stories of distant lands and distant worlds. The galaxies far not. Nope, that's Star Wars. Reading the captain's log from every day would be kind of fun for a while. Great journaler. He can help you get your journal going. And I got a little empty crown going up here, he wouldn't make fun of that. He gets it. So, awesome. Go. You sold me. You and everybody else sold me on the captain. Sorry, Shaq. Woof. First round burnout. So sorry.
Madness.
Next up, we got Queen Bee, Baby, Yonsei, and we've got a Ghostbuster. Any Ghostbuster, just same Seinfeld rules apply. You get any Ghostbuster you like. Sorry, Justin. Who you got? Beyonce or a Ghostbuster? Again, no magic. So there aren't really ghosts. Probably, we're pretty sure.
This is a guy with a vacuum, is what you're saying.
Essentially, he's a guy with a laser pointer. Yeah, a wearable backpack laser pointer. So, Ashley, Bill Murray. The problem is that's not Bill Murray. That's a Ghostbuster. Bill Murray's a real guy. A Ghostbuster is not a real person. That's who you're picking is. Jen, same thing. Everybody calm themselves. It's not Bill Murray. This is the rules, people. This is the Ghostbuster himself, the real guy. Studied at, what was it, NYU? Met the Keymaster. Erica, our boss, says Beyonce. So weigh that with your decision, Pete. Know that.
Yeah, I think that's an easy decision for me. It's got to be Beyonce.
The Queen Bee. She could sing you songs. Here's the problem. I don't know how much she would respect me as a person. She seems nice enough. I don't know what I'm bringing to the table that she would have any time for. Right? I would say, hey, can we do Crazy in Love, or what was that, 2002 Bonnie and Clyde? What was the Jay-Z one? Or any of the Destiny's Child stuff. She would say, no, you can go make me some food or something, make me a smoothie. And I would go, I guess so. It's kind of the same dynamic I have now. So my wife is so great, and I'm a bit of a moron. So we kind of have the same thing. So I don't need to go through that again. I'm just kidding, honey. But I agree. Beyonce would be fun to hang out with until she didn't like me anymore. And
Don't say yourself sure.
oh, what a good dance partner Beyonce would be. I didn't think about that.
There you go.
She could. Right?
But you had that down by end of it.
Oh
sure.
man, how funny would that be? Just to be come back and like I wasn't living with Beyonce. Like I learned really every dance. But I'm saying you got the opportunity to live with any of the Ghostbusters, telling you all the stories of ghost busting, not actually busting ghosts. Yeah, she could teach you dance moves and make you TikTok famous. She probably would. You'd forever be on a Wikipedia page as the guy she was locked up with during COVID-19. I don't think I would advance much beyond that. I wouldn't learn any more dances beyond what she taught me. So I'm sorry for that reason. Sorry, Yonsei. You're out of here.
Oh, man.
All right. We're moving to the Northeast. First up, we got Survivor Man and Neil deGrasse Tyson. If you care to read the whole thing, Survivor Man, Neil deGrasse Tyson, The Fresh Prince, Danny Trejo, Rick Grimes, Walter White, Ned Flanders, Richard Pryor. So we're starting with Survivor Man versus Neil deGrasse Tyson. Who you got, Pete?
Oh, I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. He has such a calming voice. Think of all the stuff you can learn. It's a no-brainer for me. My Survivor Man would be clutch if things got like really crazy. But I gotta go with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. Folks, if the music's too loud, please let me know. I just turned it on, hoping that it was quiet enough. Thank you, Maureen. Erica, I'm so sorry. It was all Pete's decision. You heard it. Pete made me get rid of Beyonce. He talked me into it.
That's
felt
not true.
pressured. He even said some disparaging remarks about her and you, as a matter of fact, earlier, just before we started this podcast. I said, no, she's great, Eric is great. They probably would be best friends in real life, but Pete disagreed. Anyway, I was bullied. Sorry. Neil deGrasse Tyson versus Survivor Man. I agree with all the points that you make. Survivor Man, if it really goes downhill, Survivor Man's the guy that you want. Here's the problem. I feel like you got to be way out in the wilderness for Survivor Man to survive.
Oh, sure.
Do you think he would survive in Ithaca? There's a lot of strange wildlife down there, but...
I mean, I think he would survive. I don't know if I would survive with him. I think he'd probably just leave.
He'd put you in a backpack like Baby Yoda. That's what I would need. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're right. Calming, soothing, puts everything in perspective.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna put this up to the people, because we're seeing a lot of Survivor Man, Pete.
Oh, man.
Garrett's saying Survivor Man's the sham. I think you're thinking of Bear Grylls. That guy's nonsense. Survivor Man, real deal. That's why I put him, not Bear Grylls. So, you're wrong. Jen Myers, he'd be helpful in a TP shortage. That's probably true. He'd probably make one out of pulp. Okay, I'm going for 30 seconds. Knock your votes in. Survivor Man, Neil deGrasse Tyson, punch him up. Right now, I'm going to count him up. You've got 20 seconds left. I'm seeing one Neil deGrasse Tyson. And if that's it, then that's it. Another. Justin, what's your vote? You got to give me a name. Anyway, I'm going to move on to Breakfast with Churchill. Ooh, we got a Survivor Man. There's now 1-1. All right. Whoever rings in next, I'm going with their vote. Breakfast with Churchill. Oatmeal coffee stout on nitro. Oh man, we got Survivor Man and Dr. Neil at the same exact time. Nitro breakfast with Churchill. Oatmeal coffee stout. Made with nearly a pound per barrel. 2 pounds per barrel of coffee. We're getting more Survivor Mans.
All right.
From
It's
Glen Edith.
Survivor Man,
Our friends at Glen Edith. Tag them. Tell them to put it on tap at their coffee shop. And if you're looking for coffee, Glen Edith Bean Cruiser Blend is one of the most approachable, tasty coffees you can find out there. What did I just say? Survivor Man?
Yeah, he has number one seed. So.
There we go. Sorry, Neil. Nice sweater, Neil.
He had my voice, my vote, Neil.
We tried. But have you seen some of his tweets? They get a little annoying. It's pedantic. You'd try and watch one movie and he'd be like, actually, did you know that at that time the moon would have been 15 degrees? You go, God, Neil, shut up. Please, just let us watch the movie. Okay, next up is Fresh Prince, Danny Trejo. Fresh Prince is the character of Fresh Prince, played by Will Smith, from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not the Fresh Prince, the rapper character by Will Smith. So you get the guy from the TV show, not the guy from Benito Samiani. Yeah, parents just don't understand. So, Fresh Prince, Danny Trejo is the guy, and I assume that Danny Trejo just is all of his characters. So he seems like the guy from the movies.
I'll go with him then.
You go with Danny Trejo?
Yeah, I'm contrarian. I know Fresh Prince is going to be a fan favorite, so I got to take the underdog.
So, Fresh Prince I feel like would be very fun. And because he's the guy from the TV show, any problems that you have with him or with other people will be wrapped up in about 28 minutes. There will always be a nice, clean conclusion, and he's very funny. You don't get any of the other characters, but you get the Fresh Prince. Danny Trejo is bringing muscle. He seems like a nice enough guy now. Probably was a problem when he was young. But now he seems like a nice old grandpa, like the guy from Better Call Saul. Terrifying. If you got on his bad side, but very nice. Barb, you know I can, and I will not rap the entire theme song to In West Philadelphia, born. No, we have a limited schedule here. We got a lot of matchups to get through. So, Pete, you're going Danny Trejo?
Yeah, but I feel like Fresh Prince is probably a fan favorite. So
I don't want fan favorites, Pete. This is not their bracket.
All right, well then, I went Trejo.
We're going Danny Trejo. All right. If anybody has a problem with that, you can bring it up with Pete. He is at Brewing Warhorse on Instagram. We also list his personal contact information on our website. All right. Next up, we got Rick Grimes, the character, and Walter White, the character. This is tough.
So I've been binging both these shows recently, and I gotta go with Grimes. He's a great leader. I respect Walter White, but I'm not really into the products he makes, so gotta go with Rick.
So Walter White brings to the table a little bit of business acumen, right? And some science background. He could probably make meth, but not at my house. I don't have the right stuff for it. And Wegmans is probably sold out of whatever it takes to make it. So I like Rick. I think I'm agreeing with you. Rick Grimes seems like a good enough dude pre-zombies, pre-walkers. And seems like I didn't put this against each other. This was a randomized computer software that I just put all the names in and it randomized the bracket. Rick Grimes seems like a good enough guy before the whole outbreak, and great leader for the most part. He made some mistakes, but pretty good judge of character. And if you're getting them like late seasons, like recent, from before he maybe died, maybe disappeared, maybe took a boat, maybe took a helicopter, whatever he disappeared for, he probably can like garden, and he knows how to do all kinds of things that you need to do if things really went south here. He could homestead, I'm trying to say. So that's, we're in agreement. Rick Grimes, sorry, Walter White fans, but he's out here. Okay, next up, we got Ned, the neighbor, Flanders, and Richard Pryor. I assume everybody's familiar with both of these people. Who you got, Pete? You got a hot take on this one?
I was trying to have a hot take and take Ned, but not a chance. He gets so annoying after about like 3 days. So I gotta go with Richard Pryor, plus he's hilarious.
I agree with you, for the most part. Here's my holdup. Ned Flanders seems like the ultimate neighbor. And this is not forever. Remember, this is for the extent of the quarantine. So you may be in it for 5 weeks, you may be in it for 10 weeks, you may be in it for a couple months. Who knows? But it's not forever. Richard Pryor, hysterical, seems like after an extended period of time would be a handful. Because Richard Pryor was my first choice. But the more I've been thinking about it, I feel like it depends on what era Richard Pryor you get.
Ned Flanders is a good neighbor, but you need that distance. You need the
you get 6 feet.
Yeah, you need something more than 6 feet. You need like a fence.
You need a fence? Yeah. You could borrow whatever you want and never give it back. Yeah, the problem with Ned Flanders is he'd probably have thank you, Maureen, would probably have a problem with whatever you're watching on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I think every single time you get every single time. And I think that's a problem. So, I'm going Richard Pryor. Yeah, even though he set himself on fire, probably on accident. I'm going Richard Pryor. We're in agreement. Richard. Okay, down to the South North. We got Nick Cage, Buddha, Snoop D-O Double G, any Mythbuster of your choice, Bruce the Everyman Springsteen, Bruce The Ultimate Fighter Lee, Ron Swanson, and Chris Farley. We're going to start with Nick Cage and Buddha. I don't know if Nick Cage has ever been put up against Buddha before in any form, but we got it. Nick Cage is the real guy, not the character, even though in his mind I think he believes he's probably his characters. And Buddha is probably the real guy. So that's who you get.
I think a lot of people want me to choose Buddha, but I mean Nicolas Cage. It's got to be a hot take. He can just go through and just reenact all of his best works. You know, like Con Air, Face Off, National Treasure. Think of all the fun he could have just going line for line through all of that. So I gotta go Nicolas Cage.
I want to iron these wrinkles out. I feel like every single thing you could do Face Off. I want to eat this bowl of cereal. So, yeah, everybody's going Nick Cage. I was going to go Buddha because I feel like he would be so zen at the end of it. He would teach you that all of it's nonsense, kind of like Marcus Aurelius, except more of like looking in and centering yourself with the world as opposed to just centering yourself as a person. So I was going to go Buddha because it felt like 13 weeks to 16 weeks with the Buddha would be quite an experience. It'd probably be very expensive to do. But everybody's going Nick Cage.
It's easy.
It sounds like it's an easy pick. All right, I'm going Nick Cage. Sorry, Buddha. All right.
This is a tough group, by the way.
This was a tough draw. I promise this was all random. We got Snoop and your choice of a Mythbuster.
I'm going Snoop Dogg just because I feel like the Mythbusters would be making messes all over my kitchen, just like exploding things or like proving me why I'm wrong about stuff. So yeah, and Snoop Dogg's just fun to hang out with for a variety of reasons.
Yes, I agree with everything you're saying. Mythbuster probably would have fared better with a different pull, but the fact that they're playing Snoop Dogg is just there's not a chance they're getting out of the first round. I'm sorry, Carrie and all the other ones. I don't know any other ones. So Snoop moves on. All right, here is one of we got the two hardest matchups I think coming up. Bring a green hat. Springsteen and Bruce Lee. Bruce on Bruce crime coming in. We got Bruce Springsteen, Songbird, America's greatest songwriter, maybe. America's greatest pop songwriter, for sure. And Bruce Lee, the world's greatest martial artist, perhaps, brought into the masses, one of our greatest movie stars. So, Pete, who you got? Bruce or Bruce? Or Bruce Bruce?
Before I put in my pick, what are people saying?
People are, so I've gotten a couple of Springsteens. I don't know if I've gotten any Bruce Lees yet.
I'm leaning towards Springsteen just because kind of goes back to the whole working out all the time. I'm more of a hangout with with Springsteen, like go through the greatest hits. Yeah, that sounds like a good 8 weeks to me.
I feel like you're probably right. Bruce Lee seems like a fun dude. If you ever read up on him, like when he was in his heyday, hoo boy, fun guy. But I agree, you'd be eating some snacks, as you and I want to do. I'll put myself in the same category. And he would come in and be like, "What are you doing, man?" And I go, I'm so bored. It's 1 a.m, Bruce, and I just want to have a snack and watch Peaky Blinders. And he's gonna go, no, push-ups, 1-finger push-ups. No, Bruce, this isn't gonna work out. So Springsteen, yes, he would have all songs. You just need one guitar and maybe the harmonica mouthpiece thing. And Warhorse, whoever's answering for us, Patty does not get to come. It is just the one character. I'm sorry. Bruce Lee might help fight zombies and the virus mutants. True, but I feel like he would leave me in the dust. He'd probably have no time for me. So I'm going Springsteen in that you would have songs all day long. He's got a huge songbook. He knows a lot of great American folk songs. He did a whole album of classic American folk. He could serenade you all day. And you could finally explain to him why Tunnel of Love is so underrated. And Nebraska. So sorry, Bruce Lee, but the boss moves on. All right, next up is going to be Ron Swanson versus Chris Farley, probably the hardest draw of the night.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup. Ron Swanson, man, I just watched all of Parks and Rec, and man, what a fun guy to hang out with. Plus, handy around the house. I have all my projects done. Have a scotch afterwards, or beer, whatever. And yeah, life would be good. It'd be like a normal day with Ron Swanson. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, here's the thing. I was going Chris Farley versus most other people. Chris Farley's going to win for me, at least in the first round.
All right.
Funny, sweet guy, Midwestern dude, the heart of gold. However, Swanson brings to the table lots of abilities. Chris Farley, funny. I feel like he's always on. And you just couldn't, after a while, I think you just run out of steam. You're like, Chris, man, just a little bit. So I think you're going right with Ron Swanson. Imagine you break your table, which Chris Farley would do. He'd break your table. You break your table. Who's fixing it? Ron Swanson.
Swanson.
Yeah. All right, we're agreed. Ron Swanson is from the Midwest. Turnabout is fair play, Rob. That's exactly right. All right, folks, we're into the next round. I'm glad I didn't do 64 of these. Let's look at where we're at. We're moving back up to the southwest. Martha Stewart, a Doug Flutie, Tom Hanks, Gordon Ramsay. Down here we got Hemingway, a Seinfeld character, Captain Picard, a Ghostbuster. Over here we got Survivor Man, Danny Trejo, Rick Grimes, Richard Pryor, Nicolas Cage, Snoop Dogg, Springsteen, and Ron Swanson. So we're going back up here. We got Martha Stewart versus Doug Flutie. Pete, that's a tough game for you.
I'll let you start because I think we all know where I stand on this one.
I don't know where you stand on this one.
Oh, it's got to be Flutie. I mean,
you're going Flutie again.
I may or may not be wearing a Doug Flutie jersey underneath this shirt right. Yes, he is my surprise pick to win this whole thing because he is an American hero. I mean, a man that just stuck to his goals, kept on trying, went up to Canada when they said he couldn't play in the NFL, came back, lit the world on fire, got his face on a box of cereal. Come on, it's an American dream.
Oh man, I was all in on Martha Stewart to get to the Final Four. To be quite honest with you, but you're making me roll a tear, man. You're making me cry. Yeah. It doesn't count that Doug Flutie's your dad. We're not going to hold that against you. But
I could be so lucky.
Doug Flutie moves on. All right, next up we got Tom Hanks versus Gordon Ramsay. Again, Tom Hanks the person, Gordon Ramsay also the person. Who you got?
I'm going to stick with Ramsay.
Go Gordon.
I know this is going to be a tough choice for people, but yeah, I'll take a little abuse in the kitchen to just really improve that a chef game. So I'm gonna go with Ramsay.
You know what? Tom Hanks is the friendliest guy maybe on the list. Rob, yes, I agree. Tom Hanks has the virus. If you heard the first round, my reasoning was that you go in and get it, and then you just have it with Tom Hanks. Who better to have the virus with? You know you're going to get it anyways eventually. Might as well just get it with Tom Hanks and watch Big and all of his other movies while you're sick. Anyways, Gordon Ramsay, I like those points. You're going to learn how to cook. It's a skill that lasts a lifetime. Gordon Ramsay. All right, next up we got Hemingway versus any character from Seinfeld.
Alright, do we even have to do this one? It's got to be Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Fan favorite. It's got to happen.
Yeah, Hemingway would be interesting. Great stories. A Seinfeld would be way more fun. Hemingway would be, I think, a handful after a while. Like, dude, come on, Ernest. Just bring it up a little bit for me. Help me out, man. The Old Man and the Sea, you ever read that? Whew. It's a slog. Anyway, great writer, great storyteller, great hunter, great warrior, probably, great drinker.
Definitely.
Yeah, but you're getting any Seinfeld. You can get Jerry if you want. You can, yeah. With Hemingway, you get the pterodactyl cats. I assume that's what you meant. The cats with an extra toe on each foot. However, he's out. I'm sorry, Ernie. Next up, we got Captain Picard versus a Ghostbuster. Who you got?
I'm leaning Picard.
You going Picard?
Yeah. It's a tough one, but I'll take that experience. And it is just a guy with a vacuum. I can't stress that enough. It's not an actual.
We're losing
Ghostbuster.
the magical powers, people. You got to remember that. So,
That's why I love Picard.
you get any Ghostbusters, Rob. That includes the new Ghostbusters. It includes the cartoon Ghostbusters. Includes Ecto Cooler High C. Could be any Ghostbusters universe person you want. But you get Captain Jean-Luc Picard leading the way. I think you're probably right, Pete. He's going to lead you through no matter what. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like where your head's at. Next, we've got Survivor Man versus Danny Trejo.
I'll take Survivor Man in this one.
Survivor Man right off the bat without even thinking about it.
Yeah, so, I really thought Tyson was going to make a run in my mock bracket here, so.
Oh,
once
no.
he was out in the first round.
You got busted?
I don't know. Yeah, it busted my bracket.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll take Survivor Man just as the off chance I need to learn some skills to, survive out in the wild.
I tell you what, that's an underrated thing about Survivor Man. Even if things don't hit the fan, you're just hanging out. He's got pretty cool stories about traveling the globe and getting stuck in places. And he can teach you all about what to do if you see a grizzly bear, or if you only have a stick and some mushrooms or something. He can tell you what to do with it. So I'm going to agree with you.
Go forage for some food. It'd be great.
Sorry, Rob. We're going Survivor Man. All right. Next up is Rick Grimes versus Richard Pryor.
Battle of the Ricks.
Battle of the Ricks. Just a couple of Ricks duking it out in the second round.
Oh man, I'll take Grimes again. This is gonna be my practical bracket. Yeah, that way this side of the bracket will be all like surviving, learning new skills.
The survivor bracket. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
The quadrant.
16th quadrant or something.
Yeah, Richard Pryor again, maybe funniest person in terms of stand-up that's ever done it. But would he be a lot to handle after a while? Probably. Rick Grimes, he's got the weird, Pete, What is your problem, Pete? I feel like that would get on your nerves after a while. If you could tell him to talk in his regular... No, it's Rick Grimes. It's not the actor.
Yeah, this is regular voice.
Yeah. Yeah, he would probably keep things on the straight and narrow. He comes armed, which I assume Richard Pryor does not. He's got the hat, which is great. And he comes with a tool bag of skills. Bob Fox says, everyone Rick knows dies. Which is a fair point.
Fair point. It's a fair point.
So, that just gave me a whole bunch more to think about. I'm still going, I'm going to agree with you. I go Rick Grimes because of how much he can do. I'm just thinking of, like, I got to get water from the creek that's like a quarter mile that way to my house. He probably knows how to do it, like how to build a series of aqueducts to get it from the creek to your house. That's my game. I agree with you. All right, next up we got Nicolas Cage and Snoop Dogg. I think this is going to be an easy decision, but
Nick Cage,
but
right?
that is not what I was thinking.
I think this has to be a chat one because Nick Cage was such a huge fan favorite the first time around.
Who? Yes. Everybody thinks it's funny to live with Nick Cage until you have to live with Nick Cage. All right. Nick Cage, Snoop Dogg, open it up to the chat. We're getting the first 3 answers, best out of 3. So anybody that's in there can do it. And if we don't get through... Ooh, we got Nick Cage right off the bat. All right. And, we got Snoop Dogg. All right, next one breaks the tie. And if nobody chimes in, then Pete is breaking the tie.
You can break it.
I'm going to break it? I don't know if you want that. All right. 10.
You win some, you lose some.
8. Snoop! Rob says Snoop. Snoop moves on. Chloe and Rob, thank you. I was worried that Nick Cage was going to make it all the way. Okay, now we got the boss, Bruce Springsteen, versus Ron Swanson.
Another huge matchup here.
It is a big one. This is a marquee game. This is getting prime time. Both got fans all over the world.
I'm going to go with Ron Swanson for all the reasons we said before, but also he knows how to cook a great steak. He has a great mustache and is probably a great human being.
Right.
The three
Ron Swanson brings a lot of good dad energy to the game. Springsteen is who we're playing. Swanson versus Springsteen. Springsteen, you've got a lot of great stories, right?
Oh, sure.
You've got all the songs. You've got decade after decade of hits. And you could probably talk him into writing some songs with you. And then you could be... There's like 75 people in the E Street Band. You could probably get in there, shaking a tambourine, and go on tour with him once this whole thing blows over. Because at the end of the day, there will always be people willing to go pay for Springsteen tickets. And you can get in on that. So, here's the thing. I'm assuming you get Springsteen now, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting like 70s Springsteen with the floppy hat. You're not getting 80s Springsteen with the suit and the synthesizers. I'm getting 90s Springsteen with the goatee, which was terrible. He has great music, but that goatee, that did not age. And then 2000 Springsteen with a lot of wrist jewelry and neck jewelry. He went like Johnny Depp, wearing a lot of things. Anyway, it's a toss-up in the comments, Pete. So if you're going Ron Swanson, I think you're right. I think you're going Ron Swanson.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting to get that one. All right, thank you.
You got it. And the only reason you're getting it is because I went Springsteen instead of Dylan. I felt like I couldn't put him on here just because of my bias that I wasn't allowed to. Rob, you do not also get Clarence. Sorry, it is a one-man operation. You get one character. All right. Next up, Doug Flutie, Gordon Ramsay. Then you got a Seinfeld character and Captain Picard. And then you're bringing on Survivor Man and Rick Grimes, Snoop Dogg, and Ron Swanson. So we will start with Doug Flutie and Gordon Ramsay.
I'm running out of stories here.
All
Except for the story of when Doug Flutie came in as a home game, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a young boy's first Bills game. You know, they're in the stands, fans are cheering. Doug Flutie ran it in as time ran out. Crowd goes wild. Flutie. Changed that little boy's life forever. Taught him to follow his dreams, never give up. And led this boy to where he is today.
100 and nothing. Okay,
Doug
you sold.
Flutie is the reason I am a Brewer today. Let's go. Doug
You got
Flutie.
me again. Dang. Doug Flutie moves to the Final Four. Seinfeld versus Captain Picard.
You start on this one.
Okay, I'm saying George still. George is fun.
Okay.
George is reasonable. George is a wild card when it calls for being a wild card. Captain Picard is fine. He's a good leader. But if I'm just hanging out at home most of the time, I do not need that energy constantly. I feel like I'd be getting judged and directed constantly. So that's why Seinfeld gets my vote.
I'm okay with that. I'll accept that. I'll take
All
Seinfeld.
right. That was an easy one. Seinfeld moves on to the Final Four. Next up, we got Survivor Man versus Rick Grimes. Battle of the two survivors.
Yeah, so this is a Survivor bracket, so it's tempting to take Survivor Man because it's right in the name, but I feel like Rick Grimes has seen more stuff, you know? He's been in more situations. He knows how to get out of tougher situations, so go with it.
I'm totally agreeing with you, Pete. You're speaking my language. Rick Grimes moves on. Survivor Man was a good pick for a while. All right, now we got Snoop Dogg versus Ron Swanson. Fun versus practical. Who you got?
I'm on the Ron Swanson train. I could see either way, though. I'm on the fence, so I'll let you make the deciding vote.
Okay, we're assuming that we're stuck in a house. Let's call it 12 weeks. Ron Swanson is great for skills, adult skills, teaching how to woodwork, camping, maybe. And then you got Snoop Dogg, which is just fun. And I would like a little fun in my life. I'm going to assume that this thing is going to get bad, but not apocalypse bad. So I don't need to know how to build a canoe. I want to watch movies on Netflix with Snoop Dogg very badly and tell me all of his Tupac stories. So I'm going
Sounds
Snoop
good.
Dogg. You got Snoop. Snoop! All right, folks, we have got the Final Four. We've got Doug Flutie, we've got Seinfeld, we got Rick Grimes, and we got Snoop. No! Final Four. It is time for one shining moment for Doug Flutie versus the Seinfeld. I think we got your vote, Pete.
I am actually out of Flutie stories, so
Okay.
I'll let you decide.
I'll give you a
I have
Flutie
no
story.
idea.
The first live concert I ever saw was the Doug Flutie Band at some hotel. He was playing in like the lobby or something. I think I was like 9 or 10, and he played drums with his brother.
And he's a musician. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, plays drums, which he's not allowed to do while we're in quarantine. It's too much. Doug Flutie versus the Seinfeld. Seinfeld, George, lots of fun, right? However, feel like he can get you into hot water. Doug Flutie is a level-headed leader. I feel like he's fun, but he's all business when he needs to be, Pete. And I think that's why he moves to the championship round.
Finals, baby!
The finals. He's going dancing. Doug's going dancing. Rick Grimes, Snoop Dogg. Rick Grimes, Snoop Dogg. Who you got? I'll tell you what I got. Rick Grimes is... Welcome back, Pete. I love it. Rick Grimes is bringing the prowess, the know-how, and the skills. Snoop Dogg is bringing the fun. So assuming this doesn't turn into an actual zombie apocalypse, I think you go Snoop Dogg.
I agree.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody out there disagree? Because I'm going to put down Snoop Dogg over Rick Grimes. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, we got Snoop. Moving on. Snoop Dogg, Doug Flutie. In the championship game, the big dance. Who's going to be cutting down the nets? Pete, Snoop Dogg, Snoop D-O-double-G, Uncle Snoop, the big Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion at one point.
Snoop Lion, I know. That's tough.
And Snoop Dogg. So you've got all the way from early Death Row, you got stories, he knows Tupac, he knows Suge Knight, he knows who actually killed Biggie Smalls and Tupac. He's got all kinds of great stuff going on. Obviously, he brings his own herb garden, I would assume. However, whatever he brings, I think belongs to him. I don't know if you'd get your hands on anything after it all runs dry. So, you got Doug Flutie leading the way, level-headed, watching a lot of sports on TV, watching football, not live, reruns. He's breaking down film.
Breaking down film.
Do you get sick of it?
Maybe playing catch every once in a while, 6 feet apart in the backyard.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
And with the Canadian and the American football, they're 2 different sizes.
Jay Fisher brings.
I don't want to decide this. I'm
Jay Fisher brings a good point. Snoop Dogg is friends with Martha Stewart. He probably knows how to cook and sew and decorate a home.
A new dimension.
Oh man, I'm going to open this up to the floor. We're going a couple of votes here. Snoop Dogg, Doug Flutie for the championship, for everything. Rob says Flutie knows how to cook. I don't know who his source is. Big if true. But Flutie, I know knows how to make cereal. Rob also says Flutie does not need to sew, which again, link your source.
He knows how to make cereal.
He knows how to make cereal. He knows how to make cereal, and he knows how to make a winning franchise until he gets benched in the playoffs.
Yeah, basically.
Unjustly, I might add.
Yes.
Anyway, we got a vote for Flutie, and we got a vote for Snoop. We got another vote for Snoop. Pete.
Sounds like.
Oh, we got another vote for Flutie.
Oh no.
Oh man, we're gonna give it a couple more seconds. Finish this thing off. Get our championship winner. Nick says, I bet Flutie has an herb garden. And Rob also says Flutie. Beth says Flutie. These are all the people that bet. Maureen says Flutie. It's over. It's over. It's all over. Wow. The dance. It's done. Doug Flutie. The ultimate QuaranTEAM member. Can you believe it?
I know he's a fan of the show. I can't wait to hear.
Woo! Woo! Doug Flutie Flakes, Flutie, the man with the 2 big heart and the 2 little legs.
Did not think he was going to make it through, but he's
Doug
a player,
Flutie.
so.
That's what you
Never
get when you
say
get
that.
passion. And that kind of passion is on showcase in every can of Warhorse beer. Everything Pete loves about Doug Flutie is put into each and every can of Warhorse beer. You can expect that in every single drop, every taste, every can, every pint, every case. Pete, just know that my battery's running low on my phone. I'm not near an outlet because I'm on the back wall.
Okay.
And so
Might
you
be
may
signing off here in a
you
second.
may go out at any moment. Ashley says this was rigged from the start. Rob said
It wasn't
Doug
rigged.
Flutie lived in an igloo and only ate snow. All these things are possibly true. We have no way to confirm or deny any of it. When we come out, I'm going to visit. You guys rock. Thank you so much, Maureen. I appreciate all you guys that played along and hung out. And Chloe says we need a Flutie Flakes beer. Oh boy.
Maybe one day.
We would make it, and it would never actually make it to the public because Pete would take all of it. He'd get a pallet jack at his house, he'd put it outside his door, and he'd wrap
I
it
only
in
have 2
barbed wire.
boxes left. I don't know if I can spare them.
We'd have to find some Flutie Flakes.
Hey guys, also check out our new change beer. It's coming to market soon.
Rob says he went to college with you, and you never went to class. That was Rob Mount.
That's not true. That is incorrect.
All right. Bruce
We
is
did go to
disappointed.
college.
Matthew loves it. Nick says Flutie is the next Chuck Norris. His legend lives on. So, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that played along and hung out. Pete, thank you for hanging out and your lovely, what I'm guessing is a ficus behind you. Anyway, folks at home, be sure to check out Warhorse Brewing on Facebook and Instagram. We got all kinds of fun content like this coming up because I am a fool who had a baby and bought a house 2 weeks before everything went downhill. So I've got a lot of time in a nice house to make up ideas for lots of new content to make Pete and Garrett and Justin and everybody do my bidding, which is a lot of fun. So if you follow us online, we would love to have you. If you are shopping locally in Western New York, Central New York, Upstate New York, whatever you'd like to call it, we are probably available at your local Wegmans if you shop there, Danny's Place. If you go to your specialty beer stores, AJ, Steamers, Beers of the World, all kinds of things. Pete's dead. I'm sorry, folks. We are probably available there. I hope you get a chance to try some of our stuff if you haven't before. If you haven't tried some of our new stuff, we got the Maple Churchill Pancakes with Churchill out. Oh, by the way, Change is out. Peach Bombshell is out now. We got some fun stuff coming up. We're going to keep brewing. We're going to keep working as long as you guys let us, as long as the world lets us. I appreciate, and we all appreciate, every single one of you guys that's out there supporting and grabbing a 4-pack, grabbing a case, grabbing some wine, Three Brothers wine, grabbing some Bombshell cider. We love it all. If you come out to the brewery and I'm here, ask for John. I'd love to say hi. For now, I will not be saying hi. You can tag me on Instagram or something, where I'm Warhorse Brewing. If you stop out after this whole thing blows over, I'd love to say hi and say thanks for the support. Yes, if you're in Rochester, Honeyway Falls, Mendon, if you're in Syracuse, Branching Out Bottle Shop, Now and Later, All Who Wander. If you're in Ithaca, you've got the Ithaca Wegmans, you've got Finger Lakes Beverage. If you're up in Watertown, you got Griff's and Bear World and the bottle shops up there. Bottle caps, I'm sorry. So we're kind of all over the place. Otherwise, check us out online, shop3bros.com, warhorsebrewing.com. I appreciate all of you, and if I figure out how to turn this off without looking like a fool, I am going to do that right now. So thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.